In this video, we're going to discuss something called the sales mix and how that relates to cost volume profit analysis. So let's define sales mix. The sales mix refers to the proportion of different products or services that a company sells relative to its total sales. This indicates the percentage of each product or service in the overall sales portfolio. It is important because different products often have different profit margins, or you could think of it as different selling prices per unit, different variable costs per unit, and thus they will have different contribution margins per unit. Understanding the sales mix helps businesses analyze how changes in the mix affect overall profitability of the company. And finally, sales mix is also known as product mix. Let's take a look at an example. Here, you can see that the units sold for product 1 are 6,000 units, and the units sold for product 2 are 4,000 units, for a total of 10,000 units sold. If we were to take 6,000 units and divide it by 10,000 units, we would get 60%. And then for product 2, that would be the remaining 40% of the overall portfolio of products sold. In a multi-product environment, we still have the same old question to answer, which would be, what is the number of units of each product that needs to be sold to break even? And what additional information is required to help us answer this question? Well, we could get all the information we need and more if we go back to this operating income equation we've been looking at. We certainly need some kind of revenue data, at least selling price per unit. We need some kind of variable cost data, at least variable cost per unit, and that will allow us to get our contribution margin and contribution per unit. Now, in order to break even, we need to cover our fixed costs. So we need to get our fixed cost data, and all of this equals operating income. To determine break even, we actually don't need operating income as a line item, but it can be nice to have. Once we have the data that we need, we're going to use the formula we've been using. The break even quantity is equal to fixed costs divided by the contribution margin per unit. Before we go and do that, I want to remind you, when we first started talking about cost volume profit analysis, we looked at some key assumptions. And those key assumptions were as follows. Changes in sales volume and production are the same. Everything produced is sold. Costs are classified as being either variable or fixed. That means a mixed cost is broken into its variable and fixed components. Variable costs per unit of measure remain constant. Product mix remains constant. And we ignore the time value of money. Of all of these assumptions, we are going to focus on the product mix remains constant. That helps us figure out break even in a multi-product environment. Let's go back to the data. Once again, the example data as provided, we have 6,000 units of product 1, 4,000 units of product 2, for a total of 10,000 units sold. We could add some more information. The sales price per unit is $21 for product 1 and $10.50 for product 2. This means our revenues will be $126,000 for product 1 and $42,000 for product 2. Our variable cost per unit is $11 for product 1 and $6 for product 2. So variable costs in total will be $66,000 for product 1 and 6 times 4,000 or $24,000 for product 2, for a total of $90,000. Our contribution margin for product 1 will be $126,000, subtract $66,000, which equals $60,000. The contribution margin for product 2 is going to be $42,000, subtract $24,000 in variable costs, equals $18,000, which means the contribution margin in total overall is $78,000. The fixed costs are given to us, and that will be $9,984 in this example. And then we have operating income of $68,016. If you'd like, you could pause the video and try to solve break even now yourself, and then come back and see how it's done. Now, if you're back, a great place to start would be to calculate the contribution margin per bundle. And a way to think about this is as follows. We could say that if they were to sell 100 units at a 60% to 40% split, for every 100 units sold, they would sell 60 units of product 1 and 40 units of product 2. We could reduce this even further. You could ask yourself, well, what is the units per bundle? A bundle being what is the smallest number of units we can sell but maintain the ratio of 60 to 40% as it is in this example. To do that, the smallest number of units we could sell in total is 5, because that could be split into a 60-40 split or a 3 units to 2 units split. So each bundle, it's an imaginary thing, but imagine that they are selling these as a combo package or a bundle of 5 units. And each one of these packages has 3 units of product 1 in it and 2 units of product 2 in it. The selling price per unit, as you know, for product 1 is $21 and product 2 was $10.50. This information was given earlier. We also have the variable cost per unit given earlier. It was $11 per unit for product 1 and $6 a unit for product 2. So the contribution margin per unit, if we subtract these two, for product 1, it will be 21 subtract 11 equals $10 a unit. For product 2, it'll be $10.50 subtract $6 equals $4.50 a unit. So the contribution margin per bundle, if there are 3 units of product 1 in a bundle, 3 times $10 a unit equals $30. And for product 2, there are 2 units in each imaginary bundle. 2 times $4.50 equals $9, meaning the total contribution margin provided by each one of these bundles sold would be $39. We can now go ahead and utilize our break-even quantity formula, and we can say our fixed costs are $9,984. The contribution margin per unit is $39 a bundle. So we get a result of 256 bundles, not units. That's bundles. And remember, each one of these bundles or combos that are sold is going to have a number of product 1 in it and a number of product 2 in it. And we can use that information to figure out the break-even number of units. We have the break-even number of bundles is 256. So we can convert bundles to units. If we multiply by 256, each bundle has 3 units of product 1 in it. So 3 times 256 equals 768 units. Each bundle has 2 units of product 2 in it. So 2 multiplied by 256 equals 512 units. This is the final answer. This is the number of units needed to be sold of each product in order to break even. If you want, you can go back and double check your work. One way to do this is to remember break-even point is when operating incomes equals 0, or break-even point is when the contribution margin is equal to the fixed costs. So let's quickly do a double check. We could say our contribution margin per unit, as we calculated earlier, was $10 for product 1 and $4.50 for product 2. The total contribution margin then, 768 units multiplied by $10 is $7,680 for product 1, and 512 units multiplied by $4.50 a unit is $2,304 for product 2. If we add this together, we get $9,984, which, if you go back to the original data, is equal to the fixed costs. So we have hit break even. I hope you found this video to be helpful. Until next time, I will say thank you for watching, and may your journey be joyful.
it's the break even, getting it right with two products. We gonna take flight, sales mix in the bag, bundles in the game. Find that point where the money stays the same. Fixed costs, they'll bend or break. Contribution margin's what you gotta make. Hit that break even, stack those wins. Products and bundles, let the lesson begin. First step up, let's talk about the cost. Fixed stays put, never gets lost. But those variable costs, they like to move. Every unit sold, they change the groove. Now, what's the price? Subtract that cost. Contribution margins where it's embossed. Product A, we see the gain. Product B, do the same, no strain. Now hold up, here's the trick. The sales mix ratio makes it stick. 60% A, 40% B. We're cruising through, it's easy as can be. Yo, it's the break even, getting it right with two products. We gonna take flight, sales mix in the bag, bundles in the game. Find that point where the money stays the same. Fixed costs, they'll bend or break. Contribution margin's what you gotta make. Hit that break even, stack those wins. Products and bundles, let the lesson begin. Weighted margin, that's the flow. Multiply, mix, then add it like so. Product A's got 10, product B's got 15. Weighted margin 12, you know what I mean. That's it, the fix, divide it clean. Break even in units, that's the scene. 10,000 units to hold your ground. 6,000 A, 4,000 B, that sound. But wait, sometimes you sell a pack. 1A, 1B, just like that. Bundle them up, then stack the gain. Break even's hitting, feel the campaign. Take flight, sales mix in the bag, bundles in the game. Find that point where the money stays the same. Fixed costs, they'll bend or break. Contribution margin's what you gotta make. Hit that break even, stack those wins. Products and bundles, let the lesson begin. Fill it up like 1 + 1. Contribution margin's where the work gets done. Fixed costs, so you know the drill. Cover them up and you break even still. Hit the sales mix, set your stage. Break even's reached, now turn the page. Yo, it's the break even, getting it right with two products. We gonna take flight, sales mix in the bag, bundles in the game. Find that point where the money stays the same. Fixed costs, they'll bend or break. Contribution margin's what you gotta make. Hit that break even, stack those wins. Products and bundles, let the lesson begin. Bundle it up like 1 + 1. Contribution margins where the work gets done. Fixed costs, you know the drill. Cover them up and you break even still. Hit the sales mix, set your stage. Break even's reached, now turn the page. Yeah, it's the break even, getting it right. Two products, we gonna take flight, sales mix in the bag, bundles in the game. Find that point where the money stays the same. Fixed costs, they'll bend or break. Contribution margins what you gotta make. Break even, stack those wins. Products and bundles, let the lesson begin.